I used to have this feeling that the best time to travel was when you were young and in your 20s. You were carefree, child-free, and you could spend as much time as you wanted moving from city to city, visiting all these amazing places in Europe. But what I've actually found is that a recent trip that we took to France, we embraced the season of life that we're in now, and we really slowed down. We chose to spend 5 full days in a coastal town on the coast of France. We rented bikes. We brought my wife's parents along with us on the trip, and we really embraced this idea of slow travel. We spent long days walking along the beach with our son, visiting playgrounds, and to be honest, that trip was one of the best trips that I've had in my life. We had such an enjoyable time slowing down and really embracing the life of visiting France with our son, watching him see everything that he could see as he saw the ocean for the first time. He bit into a pastry for the first time. And it was just such a wonderful way to really embrace the season of life that I'm in now. What I really want to talk about next is the different seasons of life that everybody's going to go through when they're traveling. And the first season that I want to talk about is what I'm going to call the whirlwind season. This is when we're traveling, when we're young, we're in our 20s, maybe in our 30s. This is the trips we plan to Europe that are high-paced, fast travel, the staying in hostels, backpacking across Europe. For many, that's the first taste that they get of Europe. That's the first glimpse that they get of how amazing it can be to visit these European cities. And during that time, I think it's perfectly fine and pretty much expected that you're gonna move quickly. You're gonna probably carry more stuff than you need, and you're gonna just have so much fun and so much just amazement as you get out and visit these beautiful European cities. So that first season of life is something that's truly special, and it's something that I know that I had just such a wonderful time exploring with my wife before we had kids and moved into the next season of our life. The next season of life that I think about is actually the season that I'm in right now. I call this season the observer. This is the season of life where you start bringing your children with you and your perhaps in-laws or parents with you as you travel and explore Europe. During this season of life, it can be, to me, it's been one of the most fulfilling seasons of life. Being able to take your children to Europe with you and visit these amazing cities is something that is just absolutely fantastic. It's a time where you really get to slow down. You have to slow down the pace because you're now focused on, taking your small kids that have nap schedules, that have greater needs for slower pace. And the times that you're with them in Europe, it's going to change how you move about the cities that you're exploring. It's going to mean that you're taking a much more methodical approach in your planning. You're going to have to plan in time. Well, not have to. You get to plan in time where you get to go and visit and explore playgrounds in these European cities. You get to slow down and enjoy the little moments and watch as your young children see so much of what attracts you to Europe for the first time. Season 3 is the time of exploration. To me, the third season of traveling in Europe is when you decide to bring your older children, your maybe teenagers, young teens, teenagers to Europe. And this is really a time where you can have so much connection. Your pace starts to speed up. They can walk farther. They have more endurance to visit museums and see the sights, and you can really start to connect as a family and understand the cultural history that is so present in these European cities. It's a time of amazing growth in your children's life. They're so excited to be able to visit these European cities with a bit more independence and more knowledge about the culture that they're able to see and the foods they're able to try. And it's really just a time period that can be such a great time to visit Europe with your family. Season 4 is what I call the legacy time period. This is when you're traveling to Europe as grandparents with your children and grandchildren. And this is a time of travel that I think can be so amazing. It's a time of legacy building. It's a time of connection with your family. And it's a time where you can really embrace this idea of slow travel. It's a time that's going to allow you to connect to such a deeper degree with your family. You're going to be able to watch your children as they bring their children to Europe. And for many grandparents, they've also brought their own children to Europe and seen them as young kids. And it can be a time where there's so much connection within the family, where there's so much joy in the simple things that you get to do, sharing stories with them as you walk through these historic squares, talking about past travels, and really making connections with your kids and grandkids that just can't be done when you're at home and can only really happen when you're out traveling and seeing these amazing cities that we get to visit in Europe together. As you look back and think about the seasons of travel that you've experienced, what I've honestly found is that no season of travel is better than the other per se. They're all wonderful in their own way. High-paced, fast trips, visiting multiple cities when you're young, absolutely amazing. Going to parks and playgrounds in these historic cities when you have young kids, really absolutely fabulous. Such a great way to connect with your children. And bringing your grandparents with you along on these amazing adventures, another wonderful way to see Europe. Here's the truth that took me way too long to realize. No season of travel is better than any other. But what can take the joy out of travel is not embracing the season of life that you're in now. For me, the season of life that I'm in is traveling with my wife, my young son, and my in-laws. And I absolutely cherish every trip that we're able to get to go on together. And I hope that as you look at planning your next trip to Europe, that you really think about the season of life that you're in and how that'll influence your trip, how that'll influence where you want to go and how you'll plan that trip. So thanks for hanging out today. Hope you found this information useful. Subscribe if you'd like to learn more about traveling with your family through Europe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.